What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. Welcome to the BitLab Academy. My name is Kelly Kellam. Welcome to the show. You can find all my information right there at Kelly Kellam. And I just want to say how appreciative I am to each and every one of you for being here on a daily basis. And just special announcement for everybody here watching. If you're not yet a BitLab member, just further incentive for you to join. We did announce yesterday, I'll pull it up here in just a moment. We did announce that we are doing, actually, I'll pull it up right now. Why would I do it in a moment when I'm talking about it right now? Let's go ahead and throw it to my screen. We are basically doing, where is it at? Right here. We are going to be doing private BitLab members TA charts and training sessions. We kicked this off yesterday at 6 p.m. Eastern time in the Discord. This is going to be in the Discord for now. We may move it to private channels with link access only. You only get the link if you're in the BitLab Premium Discord. How do you get in the BitLab Premium Discord? Well, you go to bitlabacademy.com. You join us as a member, whether it's All Access or BitLab Pro, that both of those give you access to the Premium Discord. And we will be doing regular sessions. I'm going to try and do at least one every weekend and then a couple during the week. And this is in addition to the member stream that we're doing on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. So get involved there. We're basically breaking down what's going on, especially what's happening in the charts, especially if there's big news. We want to make sure that we can give some special access to not only me, I'll have other people on here periodically as well, breaking down the charts, breaking down some signals, and really there's more of a direct connection because I think Crimson Caravan was there, Alexandra G, as well as Karen Swigart Harris, and there was a couple other people as well. Yesterday, they'll tell you, it's basically more of a direct live thing. So, you know, I have the chat up right there. We can actually break down exactly what you're asking about. If you have questions about what's going on, if you have a question about the TA or a certain coin. So get involved there. And then again, coming back to the main screen, I just want to go back to what I was saying. We talked about this for the early birds. What are the early birds? Those of you that show up between 10 a.m. Eastern time and 10:15. Of course, the stream starts at 10 a.m., but it's a hold screen. I'm kind of chatting with everybody. And then at 10:15, the show goes live. This is when my camera comes on and we start breaking down what's going on in the charts. Those early birds, I try to ask, I share some thoughts, what's going on. We have a little bit of engagement back and forth. And then of course, I also say, you know, if you're an early bird, you get a little bit of special privilege, which is what are the specific coins you want to be looking at when you see all that TA in the middle and end of the show, where we break down a bunch of different alts. Those coins are selected and pulled large in part from those people that are early birds. So if you want to figure that out, the only other way, you know, that can really, because you can't hit everybody's coin all the time, but you know, anybody that does super chat, we definitely try to hit the coins that people super chat just as a thank you. And you know, obviously they're putting a little extra on the line there. So, but without any further, I say that far too much. You know, let's get this going. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. Let's get this stream going. There's still about a little over 60% of you that watch on a daily basis that are not part of this community, meaning you haven't subscribed to the channel. What are you doing? Get involved. Got 124 people in the room, 66 likes. Let's get those likes up. Shout out to everybody that's in the room. We did a lot of name calls out pre-stream. Shout out to my daddy-o who's in the stream as well. You might be able to guess who he is. There's some similarity in names there. Now, let's go ahead and jump to what we want to talk about today. Markets were a little bit flat over the weekend. There's a little bit of open interest that kind of got flushed out. But before we dive into all that, make sure you come over here and follow me at Kelly Kellam. Look for the blue check and the hit logo right here, KELOY, KELLAM. Join me here. I share a lot of great content on a regular basis here. This is also where I host the podcast that I do every Thursday, at least most Thursdays. I do this in conjunction or in partnership with Crypto Vet and Pennyfly Entertainment. We got distribution on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Spotify, all these things. And I have some of the top minds in the space come on, from Tech Dev, Crypto Burb, The Wolf of All Streets. Mark Yusko. The list just goes. The Real Plan C, The Rational Root. The list just goes on and on and on with the people we've had on this podcast. Just talking shop, what's going on in the markets and things that people should be looking for, and even debating bullish and bearish scenarios. So get involved over here. Make sure you're following BitLab Academy, which is right here at Academy BitLab. We're pushing up just shy of 3,000 subscribers on our Twitter space here. Make sure you come over here, hit this follow button, hit the retweet, hit the like button. This is how you get entered for those weekly giveaways that we give, because you're helping support the channel and you're letting your friends and family and people you're connected with know where they can come get some really unbiased information and skills and strategies and tools and how they can navigate this market. So get involved. Now, what are we talking about today? Well, the thumbnail today is most specifically, let me come back over to this. I got to switch screens here. The thumbnail today is, of course, institutions. Got a guy pondering. It says to buy. What is this? Sorry. To buy or not to buy. Okay. What am I talking about? Well, you're going to see there's been some consistent, very large inflows of capital into what some consider to be more institutional and smart money buying, which is related to the Bitcoin like pro shares, ETFs, the futures ETFs, the futures related financial products in Bitcoin and other, not just Bitcoin, there's other ones as well. But over 99% of this capital inflow that's coming in from the smart money and from these institutions is directly into Bitcoin. So why are we not seeing this directly flow into XRP? Well, there's some other things that are showing some very, strong bullishness there as well that we're going to get into. But by the way, if you are watching over on Hit Network, the 24-hour stream, or anywhere else this show is clipped, make sure you come over to the BitLab Academy YouTube page, which is right here at youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. We're pushing just over 8,000 subscribers in a matter of about 6 months. So shout out to everybody here. If you're an OG, throw OG in the chat right now, meaning you've been around for, at this point, I want to open it up so it's not just the first week or two, but if you've been around since sub 2,000 or 3,000, let people know in chat. And I see so many familiar names here. So shout out to everybody in the room. Now, just come over here to the News Now site. Obviously, I've talked about this before. This is where I pull up my sort of news aggregation. You could do it on all kinds of different things, but you click on crypto, you can come down here, click on Bitcoin, and you can kind of just see, you can actually just come straight to crypto. It will not be it'll pull more broadly, but not a lot of huge things over the weekend. We're getting a little bit more movement on, talking points and positive talking points, and from Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. And as we know, BlackRock is the largest financial institution in the world with over $9 trillion in assets under management. And there wasn't really any big things coming out over this weekend. But when we come over here to Bitcoin, by the way, you're going to see some new stuff on these charts as we're starting to, I don't want to say finalize, but we're getting the new indicator packages tuned up to be released mid-August. And we can see some really great signals here. Look at this, these bearish divergences perfectly sort of indicated likely sell in this area, also at a level of consolidation at a resistance zone. But we could see we still have this bull flag in play, but it's starting to get a little contentious. It's starting to get a little bit frustrating because this is basically kind of longer than the flagpole now. So it's carrying a little less water right now. It's carrying a little less veracity because think of a flag, or think of something like if you hold those competitions where you hold the beer mug out in front of you, this leverage with it out this far out creates a lot of weight on the fulcrum, which kind of would make that flag fall over, right? Because this is getting very heavily weighted in the length of time that this has taken to consolidate at this level. But it's not all bad. We've had these levels marked out. If we come down here to the 4 hour, we've had these levels marked out for the better part of probably since about over here, these levels down in these zones. So will we see that? Well, the longer we go sideways like this, the more likely it is that this will, break down and sort of grab some of this liquidity below. So we also have this order block down here as printed by the BitLab volume. We see this green box here. This is basically looking into the data, the trade data, into the exchanges, into the order books, and the volume that is happening in certain levels, and it gives you likely levels that liquidity will return to, meaning it's like magnet essentially. We have two below us, and we can see also if we pull this up, option F, all the way here to the top, we can see that this golden pocket, the 0.618, 0.65, is right here within this order block here, as well as being a little bit below this previous high, but all this volume that traded in here, this is right in line with where this order block is. In addition to all this, we have this strong rising support right here, which is part of this rising wedge, which has gotten a little ugly. So I'm not too sold on it absolutely being a rising wedge, but we do have this level of support, which has not been breached. We can see this boom, boom, boom. And this is perfectly in line with where this golden pocket is and the order block and this previous high. So there's a lot of confluence down at this level. Will we get it? I don't know. Let's look at some of the data. We're going to come back and do a bunch of TA on this because there's still a strong possibility for this price action to push back up here, test this regional high here, and then actually break through and likely transport rather quickly up here into this $35,000 zone. You see here, this is the flagpole here. And we go here. We can go larger as well, which is this entire move, which I think is less likely. I'm going to be a little more conservative here. I'm actually going to, let me make this a little less bright so it's not as decisive looking when you see that target. But this is the sort of range that both these targets play out. You know, the 35.5 range up into the 37.5. Will we get that? Well, let's go ahead and break down some of the data in the charts. We got 161 people in the room. Only half of you hit that like button. We break this down every day. We're in the charts all day long, every day. We come to you live every day, and we come to the members live regularly in BitLab Discord. So everybody hit that like button. We're working our tails off over here to bring you this data for free here on YouTube. So easiest thing you can do to support crypto, not just this channel, is hit that like button and join us here. Now let's kind of go through some of these stories. But before we do, let's take a look at the markets. What is going on here? And so we can see, let me go ahead and reload this just to make sure. So Bitcoin right about 30,000, a little under 30,300. 7 days. It's kind of sitting, look at this equilibrium, 1 hour and 7 days, only 0.2% difference. Ethereum sitting, it's up about 2.7%, but we have seen on the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart that Ethereum is not performing as well as Bitcoin. Is it coiling up to do something? Well, we'll talk about that. Okay, Tether had some interesting data on it this week. It kind of depegged a little bit on Binance US, but there's a lot of stuff going on there. But we also see that Binance just came out with the full integration of the Lightning Network. So that finally a little bit of positive news, because as I talked about this weekend, if we come over here, we go to BNB, we look at the BNB chart, it's a little scary. Why do I say it's a little scary? Let's kind of come out here to the daily. It's a little scary. Let's go ahead and turn off BitLab Intelligence. It's a little scary because this level right here, and we see, boom, option J, and then we'll come here. Why are these two levels? This high, Gesundheit. Sorry about that. All right. We have this high here and all this price interactivity here. We could do a band. I'm just doing this quickly. We have this price coming down here, bouncing here and rejecting here, and then all this interactivity around this equilibrium here. And the scary thing is, if we look at this zone right here, this is the low. If the price were to come down to this regional low of this move here, this is still, I mean, if we look at this, this is still that's a 17% move. And if it were to hold, phenomenal. Great buying opportunity. If there's negative info that comes out, you know, some it wouldn't even be a black swan at this point, because there's a lot of sort of leading data indicators that are suggesting maybe something's going on with Binance beyond the court case they currently have. But if it falls from here and it comes all the way down to this level, look at that. That's an 82% drop. So just be aware of that. Be aware of the context of the different markets that you're paying attention to. Now, I would argue as well that if something like that were to happen and Binance did have some sort of major black swan, this 82% drop is not going to be isolated with BNB alone. Not that BNB as a token has some huge weight within the crypto industry, which it does, but it's, I mean, obviously nowhere near Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin being the dominant market cap with, you know, matters of exponents higher than every other altcoin out there. But if this were to drop down to this level, this would actually be tied to some other major news event, you know, a narrative shift about what's going on in crypto, because this is tied to what's happening with Binance, and Binance is the largest crypto exchange in the world with the, you know, exponentially higher volume and users than any other crypto exchange that's available. So we need to pay attention to this, because I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if it were to happen, this is a big deal. And the reason I say that, I didn't actually pull this up because I didn't remember until right now. But the reason I bring this up is this tweet right here that Dylan LeClaire pointed out. And let's read some of this. Some interesting things, some interesting flow in BNB futures. Perpetual futures open interest, meaning people betting long or short on you know, leverage or margin, is seeing new highs as funding rates have gone deeply negative. Deeply negative means there's a lot more people shorting, so it becomes expensive to short. And this is not only, you know, most funding rates, if we look at this right here, if we come over to CoinGlass, this is important. Yes, we want to know what to trade. What is a trade? What's a TA? Well, this is some of that abstract data that you need to pay attention to, because it gives you a direct sort of blood pressure cuff on where money is really placing their bets, especially on leverage. And you can read it relatively strongly in that you see, look at these funding rates. Where is it? Funding rates. Sorry, I looked at the wrong data point. See these funding rates, 0.0058, 0.0044. Now come back over to this tweet. Okay, perpetual futures open interest is seeing new highs as funding rates have gone deeply negative, minus 200% APR for the next funding period. Chart number 1 looks as if someone is getting ahead of some bad news flow. Okay, let's actually pull this up larger. Chart number 1, getting ahead of some bad news flow. What is this? You see this? This is showing a lot. There's a lot of money going in betting short. And it's not just like some people are, okay, this is maybe a local top. This is like, it's almost, it's very speculative, but it's almost like there's some inside information about something that could be happening behind the scenes, or that may be, you know, a Department of Justice action, you know, BNB being a security, some other news coming out. We don't know. But so the last time BNB denominated open interest was this high was December 2020. When price was $30 and funding was extremely positive. This is betting on price go up. In USD terms, open interest was only $50 million in compared to 400 million now. Now, there's a little bit of a nuance here, because it's not like this is, you know, just, you know, some exponent higher because it's much worse news. That could be the case. It could not. The market is also much larger than it was in 2020. So interestingly, the open interest is not entirely just on Binance any longer. Take a look at BNB open interest, not on Binance, up only and surpassing $150 million. Open interest on other platforms is the highest it has ever been in both relative and absolute terms. It's a market that's no longer completely driven on Binance, very notably, in my opinion. This means that it's not just people on Binance taking these leveraged positions long or short. This is across multiple different exchanges. And this can be explained a number of different ways. One, I would argue that it probably sort of started growing most likely on Binance first. And there's a lot of people in the space that are getting smarter and smarter, like every single one of you getting smarter by watching streams like this, by watching Frankie Candles, by watching Tom Crown, by watching Crypto Love and Crypto Man, the Crypto Banter and Sheldon the Sniper, and getting your news and information and tools and strategies from multiple sources, because I cannot be your only source. I'm happy to be a source. I'm very grateful for it. But in order for you to make smart decisions, you need to get your data from multiple different sources. And there's a lot of people out here providing a lot of tools. And there's a lot, hundreds of thousands of people watching. And, you know, although many of you may have come in and never doing any real trading or investment before crypto, it's okay. because some of you already have more knowledge than your parents have in the past. Because, you know, in the past, the majority of people that were involved in markets were using a money manager, a fund manager, a broker, you know, brokerage house to direct where their assets were going and why. So they say, I want this, they go get it. Now, this is like direct to source investing, and everybody now has access to real tools and strategies and understanding what to look at: open interest, volume, transaction fees, you know, the on-chain metrics we share. And so people are getting much smarter. Now, lastly, look at the funding rates on Binance for large cap cryptos. There is an outlier. Traders are getting short BNB and don't seem to care about the high cost of funding to do so. This is the part right here that is a little bit worrisome when you look at this chart on BNB. Where is it at? I forgot. Oh, there it is. Looking at this, the reason why it's scary is maybe this comes down and bounces, but if it does lose this level, look at the lack of price interactivity through this level. This is just like a knife cutting through butter. And if there's no base here, there's no base. It's like if you ever played Minecraft or any other game, if you just levitate, you jump on like some spring, like think of Mario or any of those games where you jump on a spring and you get, you know, launched up. Then if you were to fall off that ledge because you got launched up, there's nothing to really grasp onto. Okay. So if this does lose this level, if this does come down here, it'd be a major warning shot. Warning shot fire was already there with the open interest. And you can use this for any asset, by the way, especially in the digital asset ecosystem. If this comes down to this level, if this loses this level, there's a strong probability that the price is going to transport fairly low. And if we look at this on a fib basis, we can come over here. Let's go to 3 days. Okay, we're going to do it from, we'll do it a little conservatively on the candle bodies. Come on. We go up to the top. Because you notice what also is very interesting here is that you see where price is right now. Price is trading directly in the golden pocket. This is BNB, Binance Coin, 3-day chart. Sitting not only on this golden pocket, we do have a little bit of an order block right here. You see what I'm talking about? This green block that's automatically printed with the BitLab volume. New indicator that's going to be included as a part of the BitLab trading stack. You won't have to pay any extra for it. When we roll out all the new updates, you're going to also get this BitLab trend fuel that you're seeing here across the bottom. Let me take my face off. See this? We got momentum and money flow, positive and negative, positive blue, negative, this purple color. When the momentum is clipping in certain directions, you also get not only divergences on the chart, you also get them down here on this, but you can also make it a little more advanced, coming here, coming to style, turning. If you want to see your stochastics, if you want to see your RSI, if you want to see your VWAP, you can turn all of these on and off very easily. We can also set alerts on certain signal setups. So we can have a lot of the things consolidated here. So we're not having 7 different things on the chart. This way, people that aren't paying for TradingView, they just have the free account on TradingView. They don't have to get a TradingView account to have all the indicators on the chart. Now let's go ahead and turn on BitLab Intelligence. And we can see here at the BitLab Intelligence, we have this sort of trend signal that flipped bearish, and we have this dynamic resistance zone above us, and we're finding rejection in this zone, all the while RSI and stochastics are aimed to the downside. Sorry, RSI and a VWAP aimed to the downside. Money flow is negative. We see this purple line right here, and we can also see with all this, stochastics are getting very overheated, and this is not even breaking any sort of zone. This is indicating to me weakness. If we lose this more immediate level at 221, I think with very high likelihood, if we lose this level, we're coming down to 192. This is the line in the sand. If we lose the 190 region, price is going to fall far and fast, and this will have big implications on the rest of the market as well. Not as strong as Bitcoin, but the reason I say that is if this level's lost, there's probably something larger at play happening with the Binance exchange. We need to pay attention to that. Because it's probably going to drag other cryptos down, because the narrative is going to be shaken. Why do we care about the narrative? Because so many of you, yes, you and you and you and you, and even me sometimes, We get so freaking blinded by what's happening with the price, we think the price matters. The price is only a reflection of the sentiment, and the sentiment of the market is directed by the narrative. So we need to pay attention to these things. We could pay attention to the fact that other people are trading on the price levels, but those of us that are making money in this market and doing it consistently over time, bettering their life, we're looking at the data. So if I see this falling, I don't say, oh my God, it's losing 190. I say, oh, it's losing a support level. What's the next likely support level? And then I can take advantage of the blood in the market so I can set up for, massive gains in the future. But I'm aware of what this negativity could be in the space, a negative price action, meaning price action not performing in the super exciting bullish ways. Now we're going to get into some bullishness. Don't worry. I'm not going to not cover the bullishness, but we always have to look at the bullish narratives with caution so that we can navigate the space effectively and not have this space navigate the money out of our portfolios. So let's go ahead and get back over to here what we were talking about. I just wanted to point that out with BNB. Now let's kind of come back over here to CoinGecko. I want to see reload the page. Cryptocurrencies. Here we go. XRP, clear winner. 1 inch had a really big week as well. Caspa up 36%, Solana up 30%, Stellar up 29%, Synthetics up 29%, almost 30%, both of these. Optimism up 23%. The market got buoyed by this XRP case. How sustainable is that narrative going to be? Well, we're going to have to see what plays into all this. What are the biggest losers? eCash, I don't care about it. I don't look at it at all. Bitcoin Cash, this had a massive pump. Also with some of the news of it coming on to EDX, which is the Capital, not Citadel, not Capital. It's a Citadel institutional trading exchange that was recently launched, and they had Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, and some, I can't remember, 1 or 2 other coins. But for whatever reason, Bitcoin Cash was included in that. I'm guessing likely because somebody on those boards of directors that chose probably had some pretty big holdings. We also had, it's a fairly positive week overall. So let's go ahead and get through some of these stories so we can dive into a bunch of this TA. Is Sol a short? Well, let's go ahead. Let's pull that up here in a little bit. We're going to be looking at Litecoin. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, of course, Ethereum, Cardano, AVAX, Near. What was another one? There was something else you guys said. This is from the early birds. We could look at, we'll try to look at Quant and we'll see on the fly towards the end. We're going to be looking at a bunch. But everybody, before we get going, we got 195 people in the room. Only about half of you hit that like button. Hit that like button. I'm waking up early for you guys every day. And if you like crypto, if you've ever bought crypto, hit that like button. Let's go ahead and drive these metrics up so YouTube shows us to more people so we can spread the good word of how to navigate this space effectively. Now, coming over here, I just want to point out this right here. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink highlights rising crypto demand from gold investors. And this is massive because gold is, known as a safe haven asset. It trades somewhat independently of what's happening in the market. And it's a store of value. And Larry Fink's comments over the last few weeks after following the spot ETF application submittal, and then his little press junkets that he's been doing, he's been talking. And his talking, I think, is more important than the spot ETF itself, the application, I should say, because he's signaling to all these small family offices and institutions, small and large, around the world, that Bitcoin is an asset you should be looking at. And this is why we see this title right here. If we pull this up large, spot ETF app. Actually, I don't need to do that because I just wanted to show the thumbnail. Institutions to buy or not to buy. There are signals that some institutions are stacking up, but remember, this is the people that are on the forefront. Even if they're late to the game now, as compared to some of us that have been in the space for years, institutions have to be a little more careful with when and what they choose to invest their capital in, especially if they're publicly traded, especially if they're pension funds, especially if they're all these major players that are going to see a lot of capital flowing into Bitcoin over the next decade. It's going to be astronomical. It's going to be astronomical what we see in the next 10 years. And it feels like it's taken it feels like it's taken so long. But if you look at the age of Bitcoin as an asset, as a technology, as a blockchain, as even being involved in the socio-political finance culture of the world, in reality, what it is, it's freedom culture. And governments are scared as hell of freedom because that means they're worried they can't control you. I mean, that's a whole nother topic, but we can get into that later. Point is, Larry Fink keeps continually giving these stamps of approval. And we look at this article right here. If we scroll down, Fink noted that that the impact of exchange-traded funds, ETFs, is democratizing access to gold and how they are similarly affected and how they could similarly affect the crypto market. He pointed out that more and more gold investors have been inquiring about the role of cryptocurrencies, citing their potential as a hedge against fluctuations in the value of the US dollar. This data is the narrative is starting to shift in mainstream media. A lot of people on the sidelines are even feeling adversely towards crypto. Part of that narrative and part of that thinking has been shaped by the negative mainstream media hit pieces that have been over the last 10 years. Even Larry Fink himself talking about Bitcoin being an index for money laundering, and Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, and the list goes on and on about just lack of knowledge about either lack of knowledge or clear manipulation with false talking points, signaling to people that are waiting for, is this a legit investment or not? A lot of people have been on the sidelines because of these people they look up to, these banking magnates, right? These absolute pillars in the traditional banking, traditional investment sense. But now we see Larry Fink sort of changing, not only just saying things, but also doing this spot ETF application. And we're starting to see some interest and at least awareness and a little curiosity from people that previously were like, never. And we even saw Peter Schiff. We saw Peter Schiff, who's been absolutely against against Bitcoin. He's absolute gold bug, as they call it. I mean, he's like gold, Bitcoin sucks. And now he's foraying into the digital asset ecosystem, selling NFTs. And it's like, we're seeing this shift across the board. Okay. So what is the strategy? Identify what the right buying level is for you, what your time horizon is, what level of exposure you can take without sweating, because the world is in the midst of changing, and holding the keys is going to make the biggest difference that you could ever have hoped for in your life. And that is being involved with things like Bitcoin and doing it in a smart way. Don't just sell your house or mortgage your house to put money in, but identify how you can participate in this in a way that doesn't affect your ability to live. Now, we see this, according to Fink, BlackRock's venture into the cryptocurrency market aligns with the company's objective of creating friendly, this is the reason I'm highlighting this. I know this feels redundant from some of the stories over the last few weeks, but the objective of creating user-friendly and cost-effective investment projects. So products. So one of the things that's important about this that a lot of people are not really highlighting is the fact that when you have a company, an institution like BlackRock come in and they're going to try and incentivize and inform people about Bitcoin and ETFs and getting involved, in order to do that, they need to make it as seamless as possible. For me, Bitcoin, digital assets trading, decentralized exchanges, all that, it's very easy to me, but I've been doing it for 5-6 years. Okay. For pension funds, asset managers, for people that are coming from the old world of finance, they can learn it, sure, but they need to make it ease of use. And part of that, there's going to be a little bit of negative, there's going to be a little bit of, itch my back. There's going to be a little bit of negative collateral damage there, but I think it's going to be overweighed by, it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for here? It's going to be overshadowed by the actual positivity of the liquid capital that's going to be pouring into the space. And that is ease of use also means third-party managers or things that kind of take away from the decentralized nature of Bitcoin. But the truth is, it doesn't mean you have to buy an investment product from BlackRock. You can still go buy on Coinbase or trade on a DEX or whatever. So there's going to be, I do think there's going to be multiple avenues for this moving forward. But the fact of the matter is, in order to onboard the masses, this needs to be as simple and as seamless as possible. So this is going to drive that forward. Fink also highlighted the diversification benefits of cryptocurrencies in investor portfolios and their potential to transcend any single currency due to their international nature. He's just singing all the positive things that all of us have known for years. As BlackRock ventures further into the cryptocurrency markets, Fink's optimistic outlook and strategic moves signal growing institutional interest in crypto. This is very good. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink remains optimistic about the rising demand for crypto among gold investors. He highlighted the increasing inquiries from gold, blah, blah, blah. So all wonderful stuff. Now, let's just kind of roll through these. I want to be able to have quite a bit of time to do a bunch of TA. We got, how many people we got in here right now? 189 people in the room, 136 likes. Let's drive that up. Coming here, here's how many Bitcoins are now lost forever. This is something that's interesting because this further sort of adds to the fuel of the fire of long-term bullishness, because everybody touts the fact that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, and that's true. But what that really means is there's going to be 21 million Bitcoin that are mined and minted, or however you want to classify it, created, because there are still Bitcoin that are being created, and that's what happens every time a block is mined and there's a reward sent out. That reward is technically inflation on the Bitcoin blockchain, but it's scheduled and programmed to reduce by half every 4 years, every 210,000 blocks more specifically. And this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin is so attractive to investors, because you understand programmatically and absolutely what the level of inflation is going to be, and it reduces, the level of inflation reduces by half every 210,000 blocks. Our next halving is in around March, April of next year. Some people argue, is the price cycle tied to the 4-year halving, or is the price tied to the global liquidity cycles? Or the other step is, and I've mentioned this before, was Satoshi Nakamoto so brilliant that he programmatically made the halving rewards reduce by half every 4 years and started it right about where the start of the sort of global liquidity cycles were, because it could be a little bit of everything, and it probably is a little bit of that ingenuity and timing and coincidence, as well as it's all of it baked into one. And I'm going to show you a little bit on the global liquidity here in a few minutes. But we can see right here, this is interesting. Ever wondered how many Bitcoins are lost forever? Our data shows 29% of Bitcoin hasn't moved in 5 years. It's possible that a large part of this concerns lost coins. So if there's 7,781,000 that haven't moved for 5 years, what's the number? Is it 50% of that? Is it 20% of that? I guarantee it's more than 10%, but the metric is going to be in the millions. And this means that even though there's 21 million that will ever be mined, it also suggests that we have inflation from the new coins that are being mined, but the amount that has been lost is probably would classify Bitcoin as a deflationary asset already. So just note that. Why does that matter? Supply, demand. Price moves on how much supply there is and how much demand there is. Increase the demand, don't change the supply. That still makes price rise. Reduce the supply and increase demand, then that exponentially can drive price higher. So we need to pay attention to all these factors. I'm going to dive out of Bitcoin for a second. We're going to talk about Ripple just for a moment. Ripple says U.S. banks might want to use XRP after a recent victory against SEC. Of course they do. Why? Because their system sucks. Their system sucks so bad that, I mean, I can't even describe it. I mean, if I were to, I'd have to beep, 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 motherfucker, magify, sucker. The banking system is it's such a Ponzi scheme, it's not even funny. This is why they've been so harsh on their wording around Bitcoin and blockchain technology. You want to send $100 million? Think about institutions sending $100 million from themselves to themselves. Because if you have multinational corporation and you have a bank, you have banks in each one of those locale, right? So say you have, I don't know, Coca-Cola, and they have they have their individual businesses that are part of the corporation that are sub companies, right? On these multiple different in these multiple different countries with different national banks or different crediting systems or credit unions or however you want to, even brokerage houses, it doesn't matter. When you send money, $100 million from one country to another is take anywhere from 3 to 30 days, and it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. And then you can do it with XLM, with Ripple, even with Bitcoin, with all these different digital assets. But Ripple and XLM most specifically because they are built to be digital remittance platforms to cross-border payments for retail and for corporations. And you can send it at nearly the speed of light with a fee that, I mean, homeless people would laugh at the fee. Like, I got that. Okay. Why is this important? Because it displaces the entire infrastructure of what banks have built their profit strategies on, which is taking your money, loaning it to somebody else, and charging you anytime you want to use your money. Ripple and digital assets and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these have different use cases, but even broadly beyond their use cases that they're intending, you can send all these digital assets in literally no time at all comparatively with Swift. Bitcoin's around 10 minutes. Ethereum's, 3 to 8 minutes, depending on how fast, if you're sending it to an exchange or to a wallet or what's going on the network. Cardano's very, very fast. XLM's very fast. All these at a fraction of a penny when you're sending money, even to yourself, just because it's in different institutions. So, yes, banks are trying to figure out how to stay relevant. Absolutely. Who the hell would think otherwise? So I just want to highlight that. I think we're hopeful that this decision being XRP not being a security, would give financial institutions customers or potential customers comfort to at least come in and start having the conversation about what problems they're experiencing. Now, mark my words, what we are going to be seeing here, and this is something we all need to be aware of, we need to protect ourselves. Now, mark my words, this is very important. This is something I think is very highly likely, more likely than not, and that is now that the XRP case has been deemed not a security, banks are interested in using things like XRP and XLM and even other digital assets, potentially Bitcoin and Ethereum. Of course, all of these have different use cases, but they can all also be transacted at near the speed of light comparatively with Swift, which takes 3 days to 30 days. It's going to cost you percentage points rather than fractions of a penny, and also be slower. This completely replaces the shitty infrastructure that the banking Ponzi scheme is built around. So what are they going to do now that this court case has been won by XRP? What they're going to do, and I want you all to pay attention to this, is pay attention to the potential legislation and lobbying for legislation, I should say, from big banks trying to move into the asset manager space of crypto. So they're going to try to make it, there's likely going to be something where banks are going to push for legislation that in order to use this, you have to KYC and hold it through a bank, because we're displacing a major source of revenue for them. So I can understand why they're doing it. Is it right? Absolutely not. Crypto is about your own self-sovereignty. So is it going to be okay that banks do manage some people's funds? Sure. If they want to go that route and just basically recreate their old world and have somebody else charge them for the money that they're holding so that they can lend it out for somebody else to make money, so that those corporate CEOs can give themselves multi-million dollar bonuses, and then charge somebody with $10 in their bank account $35 when it goes 3 cents under the $0 balance. Yeah, banks are going to try and figure out how they can get their claws in this. And who pays all these politicians' wages? The banks do, because they put them in office. So we need to be proud, we need to be loud, we need to be vocal, and we need to understand that this is likely coming. We already see it somewhat coming with the development of FedNow and in the implementation of that. And is it any wonder that XRP got the summary judgment in their favor right as FedNow is coming online? No, this is all tied together. Pay attention to your assets. Pay attention to how you're storing them. Pay attention to what the fundamentals of them are, so that you can be a good custodian of the money, of the capital that you are putting into this space. That's all I have to say for that right now. Stay smart, trade wise, and get involved in your capital. Understand it so that other people that understand it better don't find ways to take it from you. Now, last thing I want to share before we really dive in here, we got 216 people in the market in the room, 147 likes. Shout out. If you haven't yet, come over to, no, wrong page. Come over to, make sure you're following me here. We're going to be diving, what's going on here? We're going to be diving into some TA here in a moment. Make sure you're following me. I do this specifically because there's so many scam fake profiles out there. It's KELOY, KELLAM. It's a blue check and the hit logo. Make sure you're following the BitLab Academy page as well here at Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. We've the last few weeks in a row, we've given away from $100 and multi-month memberships. We've given away a lot of stuff. So come and get involved, share the love, share the news. Now, before we dive into the TA, I do want to just mention, and a little bit my fault, there's so many assets out there, it's hard to cover everything all the time, but something that we do need to pay attention to is Litecoin, which is still sticking around. This still has a very strong community, as though they're not as vocal and tribal as everybody else in the space. To kind of let people just, invest in what they want, which I like, because, somebody that, a lot of people that own Solana or Cardano or Phantom, and I like all those projects, but they're like, no, I hold this, so your project sucks. Shut the hell up. People can invest in what they want to invest in, and do your own diligence. And if something somebody else has isn't in your risk matrix of what you want to invest in, great. You could say, hey, I disagree with that because X, Y, and Z, but let's stop this tribalness here in the market. Litecoin smashes historic milestone ahead of halving event. Yes, Litecoin has halving events as well because it is proof of work. So we could see here, Litecoin Network just processed its 170 millionth transaction, which means Litecoin is accelerating, adding another 10 million in the last 7 weeks, well over 1 million transactions a week. So they are, there's some increased activity going on there. When is, actually, I don't even know. When is let's see, DC having. Next is August 2nd, 2023. So we're coming up to it in 2 weeks. So just pay attention to that if you are a Litecoin holder. If you're Litecoin, my brain was buffering there for a moment. Could you catch it? Preach it, Kelly. We are all one. That's right. We are all one. Kelly's zesty this morning. You know what? I am zesty. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling driven. I've been exercising in the morning. Got to lose my COVID-22 that I still got down here. Got to get myself back in my bikini, baby. But Litecoin is still, it's one of those assets also when we look at like EDX and the institutional exchange, it's one of those ones that's in there. And so we'll pull that up. Let's actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with Litecoin. We already talked about BNB. Let's see. I don't even have Litecoin in my thing. LTC. I'm down with LTC. Yeah, you know me. All right. Let me go ahead and I'm going to change these diamonds to, where did diamond at? Where did diamond at? Turn it to dots. There we go. All right. So we're on the 3-day chart. This is kind of looks like it's very long time frame range kind of, but look at these levels. The BitLab volume, see these green and red levels. These are order blocks. Basically, magnets for where price is likely going to interact with. So looking at this, okay, let's go ahead and draw some lines. Let's go ahead and make this a bit brighter. Just a little bit brighter now. There we go. Let's go dotted line. I've been liking the dotted lines lately. It kind of takes up less visual space on a chart. Now this is a little, I don't want to say concerning, but we just need to be aware of it. Option T. We got this sort of rising channel. If you really kind of looks, it's a bit of a, but sorry, there we go. So we got a little bit of a, yeah, I wouldn't really look at that. I'd look at this kind of more like a rising channel. This looks a bit more like a rising channel here. We go from this low, yeah, parallel channel. So if this does break out to the upside, there is resistance not only on this rising level of resistance. This rising level of resistance, look at where price is right here. If this moves over, this is going to be very confluent with this price action top, which is right here. And so if this does come up here, this would be a pretty big move for one. This would be a 43% move. But I do think that at this level, there will be, we're going to have to wait and see. It'd likely be a little bit of a rejection. We do see the VWAPs angled down, stochastics angled down, RSI angled down. Stochastics is the orange line, RSI is the purple line. And the momentum is rolling over right here. While if we turn this off, let's see. Looks like the money flow, the blue. I'm going to make the, a little bit brighter now. Turn off the view out. Look at this. Money flow is kind of trying to fight its way down. Come down to the daily. It's finding a little support, but it's kind of this, when it flips yellow, it's kind of like a indecisive neutral sort of zone. And we do see, look at this, stochastics down, but they're almost coming down to these lows. I'd like to see the stochastics come down a little bit further. The RSI is also angled down. We also have a descending level of resistance like this. We also have it in the stochastics right here. So if this does get rejected at this level, then we could have a little bit more of a pullback. Now, at the same time, remember, if it's coming up to this level, it doesn't mean it has to get rejected. It very well could come break through this, but we want to see what happens with the RSI. If this breaks through, this RSI is likely going to come up to test this line. And if the RSI gets rejected there, then this price will still probably roll back over. But looking at this on a larger time frame, it is doing some work. Okay, looking at this on the daily, we see it is doing some work. It's coming up to the zone. If we take this zone out, then I do think that you know the market's probably going to run quite a bit. Now, if we take this all the way from the top, option F, come on, twice always takes it. Look at this. The golden pocket is right at this high right here. This is from this top all the way to this bottom. So if we do take this out, this is my next target up here at 277, which is a long, long ways away. We still very well could have this price action. Remember, all those strength indicators, momentum indicators are kind of angled down. This very well could come back and test this first down here in the 81 to 80, 83 zone on Litecoin. So that's what I'm seeing on Litecoin. If we come down on the 4 hour, we can kind of get a little bit better. Come here. Come here, baby. All right. Option F, bottom to top. Look at this. We're sitting right, we bounced right down here, right above the golden pocket. But this trend line, see this dotted line right here? See this dotted line that comes out of this? This is a projection of what the trend is currently in. This is obviously flipped bearish, flipped bullish, flipped bearish, and we got rejected in the zone, indicating likely continuation to the downside. If this were the case, we could go like this. Boom, boom. Come here. Come here, sucker. I'm gonna get you. I was trying to take the candle. Okay. I was trying to move the candle, and this is a volume candle. A lot of volume weight down. Stopping candle, but it didn't give it much, and it's coming back down. So if this were to continue, we can kind of take it from this breakout right here. This is a breakout. Push this up. And this would take, look at that, right down through the golden pocket, which is down here in this level, down here at 85. But I think if it does move down, I think it's stair-stepping down and probably going to maybe test the top side of this liquidity on this order block. So that's what I'm seeing on Litecoin. I do think there's a little bit more bearishness. Actually, if we even look at this, I didn't even see this. We got a bit of a head and shoulders here. And I don't think this would play out because this would mean a much, much deeper pullback. And this would be coming down here. So I think somewhere in this zone is really what God God dang it. Come on. Somewhere in this zone is kind of what I'm seeing for Litecoin. Actually, let's go a little higher. Somewhere in the zone from 80 kind of up to 82.50. Strong possibility. I'm leaning that direction. But remember, if we have the halving coming up on Litecoin, and it's just got listed on an institutional exchange, and it's also being, basically safely not a security, then we're likely start seeing some institutional money come into this as well. But it's going to be very, very, very minimal as compared to a lot of the other, not a lot of the other. It's not going to be very minimal compared to the assets going into Bitcoin, because I forgot to pull up this exchange. Where is the news story? I was trying to, this one? Here we go. Bitcoin and crypto funds see 4 straight week of major inflows. We're going to get back to TA in a second. Digital asset invest products continue to see substantial inflows, with the week ending in July 14th seeing another 137 million. Weekly crypto asset flows. Look at this. This is right about where the spot ETFs got announced, and look at this massive, just boom, boom, boom. We never even had that before, especially in the last 2 years. We haven't had any sort of large run of inflows since late 2021. So Bitcoin products comprise the vast majority of inflows at 99% of institutional inflows in the market. And this is also smart money but it's crypto funds like ProShares, it's 21 shares, coin shares, major cryptocurrency fund providers. Bitcoin, on the other hand, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we don't need to really read all that. The point is here, there's going to be institutional money coming in, but there's also going to be a lot more awareness of the space. So there's going to be a lot of retail money coming in as well. Unfortunately, the majority of the market that is retail is going to come in after the price is much, much higher. And the majority of them they're going to take their first big loss, which is they buy after we break. I would say it's going to really start flowing in once we get up to 50,000, and then they're going to lose their butts, and their price is going to, pull back, and then, pre-halving sort of pull back like we get. And then at 70,000, when price gets back up to that level, we're going to see retail around the world flooding in. And the higher it goes, the dumber decisions people make. So don't be a part of that cohort. Now, last thing I wanted to share was this. This is bullish. Now, let's see this little blip right here, this little push up. This is global liquidity coming up. Now, will this break this little trend line we have right here? Because it's kind of sitting right at it. We'll have to see. This could be a little bit of an influx and then a further drop off. But if the global liquidity continues like this, look what happened when that happened. Boom. Look what happened when this happened. Boom. So we want to pay attention to this and where we're at in the cycle. Great. I don't want to look at any more charts other than doing TA with all you guys. Let me go ahead and pull up in my Discord near AVAX. We did Litecoin. Okay, let's do near. If you hold near, if you throw Litecoin in the chat right now. Let's see who's holding Litecoin. If you hold near, throw near in the chat. Let me see who's holding near. Okay, we're sitting, look at this, right at this level. We have 2 levels here. We got a larger level, that's this long time frame level, and then we have this short time frame level that has been rejected. See this wick right here? I don't know if you guys can see it. This wick, boom, rejected right at it. This wick overshot, trap people, bull trap wick is on the daily, and then right here, respected, rejected. So coming down to the 4 hour, what this is looking like, it does look a bit like a bull flag. If this is a bull flag, then what does this mean? This means we take this measurement of this flagpole and we go like this from the breakout of the zone. And what is the zone? You kind of take a level like this. And this is kind of an ugly bull flag. So it's kind of not a bull flag, but it's for target purposes. We can look at this. If this were to break out, this does have a target above this resistance line. Does this mean the price is going to go directly to the target? That's not how trading works. Targets give you a suggestion of where price could go based on the velocity and momentum of the previous move. Doesn't mean it has to go there. So as it stands right now, this is the target. However, this is also looking a little weak here. Why is it looking weak? Well, this is a bullish structure because price action is pulled back, tested this dynamic support band, by the way, which is part of the new BitLab intelligence. Everybody that has a BitLab trading stack will have access to all these indicators when we launch them in the middle of in the middle of August. So we can see this is found support, but now look at this. It found a rejection here, and now it's testing the bottom side of this dynamic range, came up, got rejected at the top side of this EMA ribbon. I don't know if you can see it. On my screen, you can see it much clearer because it's not streamed, but you see this EMA ribbon that's within this. It's getting rejected at this EMA ribbon, and it's lost this zone, came back up and lost the zone again. So this is showing a little bit of uncertainty. Bullish structure with some somewhat uncertain price action within this zone. I'm still leaning a little more bullish based on everything that's happened because of the XRP news. We have to see how this plays out. If we do break this zone right here, I do think we are going to test up next stop. Test up here at the $1.58, $1.57 to $1.58 range. If we're able to find a small consolidation and then move up, then I think we'll test between the 168 and 170 range. It's near. That's what I'm seeing. Now, if we lose this level, then I think we're coming back down to this level, $1.38. If we lose that, then we're probably coming back down into the $1.30, $1.32s. Now, AVAX. Not market cap. That's not what I want. AVAX, look at this. Looking very similar. We've got this level right here. Come on, buddy. Go ahead and adjust this. Rejection, 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 rejection. And this is interesting. Let's go ahead, double click on the toolbar. It'll auto it. Rejection, test. This is looking a little more bullish. Now, when we look at the 3-day, look at this sharp momentum increase. The stochastics look relatively high though. Stochastics down here, stochastics orange, RSI purple, looking very high here. And the interesting thing about this is look at this trend line. So rejection, 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 rejection. We're kind of in this zone. We're kind of in this zone here. We're kind of in this zone right now that we very likely could get a rejection, but it doesn't discount the bullish work AVAX has done. And we also see that is this all the most current? Yeah. Okay. Point of control of this whole zone is, right up here, $18. This is the volume point of control. If we look at the volume delta, which you all will be able to turn on, we can see the buying and selling delta here on the volume. Come on. There we go. So we can see what was, yeah. So there, come on, baby. Work for daddy. There we go. So we're seeing this is coming into a selling delta right here. You see this red? It's coming into a selling delta. There's been a lot of predominant selling volume on this price level, but if we zoom in on this, you see this is going to change because this is visible range. But if we look at it like this, okay, yeah, we're kind of pushing up into this selling delta right here. And there's an order block right above us. So I want to see this sort of break out, option T. We got a bull flag and a little bit of a falling wedge. If we were to measure this out, this would be, bam. This would take us, where would it take us to? Look at that. Order block, previous high as well. So that's up at 1743. Now we have some work to do to get there. This may come up and be a false breakout and break back down. But as it stands right now, things can turn on the pivot. Things can pivot on these major changes in narratives, which we've seen happen time and time again in this last year. If this does not work out that direction, and this does break down, then we're kind of sitting. We bounced on this level right here. We flipped this previous resistance into support, but we've also had the candle body closes as flipping this previous resistance to support as well. If we lose this and come down, then we're going to have to see what the velocity is And you know, is it a liquidation bear trap sort of setup? Everything is kind of, we're taking things level by level right now. But if we do lose this level and come down, then I definitely want to make sure that option T, we can look at this right here. There we go. So we have bounce, wick, bounce, 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 lost it a little bit, bounce. I would like to see AVAX, if it does on the bearish case come down, hold above this zone here down at 1325. If we lose that level, then we're gonna have to reevaluate where price is going. We definitely don't want to lose this level down here at 11 because we had all these basically triple bottom here. Now, Lido, we haven't done, I don't think we've done Lido in a couple months. Getting the lay of the land. Okay, now look at this. This is interesting. Got trend line, break, pop. Trend line, break, pop. Are we going to see the same thing? Trend line, break, retest. There's some work to be done here, but look at this. This actually looks more bullish than both those. This doesn't have nearly as much trading trading history, but we are. This is looking pretty good. It's sitting right. Come on. It's sitting right under the point of control. Sitting right under the point of control, but it's trying to establish this as flipping from resistance to support. If this pops, 180%, 370%. Just up to the previous all-time high, it's 57%. Where would it go from there? Well, what we can do is go option F from this top to the bottom. See this? Golden pocket. We're sitting right below the 382. We got rejected at the 0.5. We want to take a look right here at the $2.70 zone as a potential hesitation, stopping point, or rejection. This is a golden pocket of this move. If we move through that, we'd be testing all-time high up at 335. And then we'd be looking at, I mean, let's look at the 335. Once we start breaking above this golden pocket, then we can talk about further highs. This is a fib extension, which all you do is if you want that, when you open your fib, you just put in, you know, your 382, 618, 65, and then you can add your 1.618, your 1.382, all these are your extensions to where price action may likely go if it does start expanding to the upside. And this is looking relatively strong. If we come down to the 4 hour, what is it doing now? What is it doing now is double click, lower high, lower low. However, this is looking kind of like some of the other ones that we were looking at. Bit of a falling wedge, and it's sitting right here at the zone. The question is the stochastics lower, this orange line, is this low enough to have a reversal back to the upside? If we come down to the 1 hour, the momentum is staying flat down here. You see this? Stochastics are a little bit flat as well. I want to see what happens at this zone. If we lose this level, then I'm looking at coming down, which is right in the middle of this order block right here, tapping this liquidity down here at $2. That's what I'm seeing. Comp. Everybody throw a 1 in chat if you're enjoying the stream today, everybody. I want to get everybody involved. We got 178 people in the room, 167 likes. Let's get those likes up. Join us here. This is looking, okay, we got on comp, we got a little bit of a rising channel. So this is just boom, 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 boom. So is the next move up here at $89, $90. If this continues up and breaks this trend line right here, this trend signal line, we have the dynamic support, bounce, 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 fell through, rejection, rejection, rejection. If this breaks through this, I think, of course, we're going to have a little bit of work on the way up. First one being this trend signal line, and then being this order block and previous local, it's not a high because this is a high, but this point here, kind of go like this. And if we're able to take this 80 cents, then I do think we're coming back up to test the top side of this range. If we lose this level, Then the next level down, let's gonna go like this. We'll do the low, option F to the top. Look at that. We bounced right in the golden pocket zone, right in here. If we get rejected here at this 0.5 and this trend line, we may come back down. If we can't hold the golden pocket, then I think at minimum, we're going to test the 786, which is also kind of regionally some of these, all this price interactivity. If we lose this level, then likely coming back down to 65. And if that's the case, then I think there may be something bigger at play. But look at this. 1 hour, this the momentum is just clipped and the stochastics are aiming up. So we may get a little bit more of an attempt higher. H bar. Man, guys, we're flying through this today, everybody. If you hold H bar or comp, throw comp in the chat. Let's see who's got what. This is not what I want to look at. This is H bar. I want to look at, how about this? There we go. All right. This is, sort of getting rejected at this zone right here. You see this? Previous highs. This actually goes all the way across. Known resistance. Okay. Known resistance. Is this a little bit of a cup and handle? If this is a cup and handle, it's also a little bit of a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. Boom, boom. Either way, it'd be the same measurement. You kind of do it from this zone here to the bottom of this zone. If this were to break out, we'll do it from the neckline, not the handle. This would take us all the way up to, let's put a line there, option J, all the way up to 6.13 cents, which is, how big is this move? You sucker. That's a 16%, 17% move from here. If we do lose this level, then, something's going on in the markets. Now we even have this right here. It's very ugly. And that's kind of like a little weird shoulder, head, shoulder. I don't really like doing this because I like the shoulders to be roughly the same size. So I'd be looking more at this cup and handle. Let's look at just the cup and handle first, just so we don't get blind hopium coming in. So 4 hours, momentum's way down. RSI is angled down. You see this? RSI angled down, but it's trying to make an attempt back up. Stochastics bounced and they're coming up. But look at this, this money flow. This money flow kind of came up like this, came up, and it's chopping down like this. This is looking a little uncertain in this region. It's trying to pick a path. That's what I see on H-bar. It's trying to pick a path. We're sitting right on that point of control. If we were to break down, option F, from the top to the bottom. If we do break down, I'd be looking at this target down here at 4.9 cents. That's what I'm seeing. What else we got? Chronos. I don't think I've over. Looks very similar to H-bar. A little bit of an inverse head and shoulders, kind of not really. Also a little bit of a cup and handle, but this handle kind of broke because this kind of came down. This came down and then just lingered here. So let's just look at this formation here. If this were to break out, likely coming up to this zone right here. But if this breaks down, because this is very ugly. This is not a bull flag. This is just consolidating into a resistance level. This is a resistance level right here. Why is that? Because this is where previous price action rejected. And look at this bounce, rejection, rejection, rejection below it, rejection, kind of sliced through it, came back down. I'd like to see this test this zone again, 6.1 cents. If we lose this level, I'm looking down here at 5.8 and likely coming down to the 5.7, 5.86 or whatever. And if we lose that, coming back down here. And then if we lose this, of course, we're going to probably come down into this zone here. That's what I'm seeing. But we do see the momentum is shifted to the downside. So I am kind of in favor of this, maybe chopping in the zone and likely testing lower. ICP. By the way, I am doing some TA today on BitBoy Crypto, so make sure you head over there. My face isn't on the screen. So head over there, throw some lab coats in chat, be positive, throw some good comments. All right, this kind of looks very ugly. This looks more like a boom, 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 boom. Are we going to see that? I don't know. But we do see, look at this, almost looks like a triple top. This looks, look at this. This right here looks like the Bitcoin bull market two top, where we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the lower low followed by the lower high, the breakdown, the subsequent little mini consolidation, and then the 60, 68, 69,000 top. This looks just like that. And yet we've got another false sort of, I call it false because this indicates likely coming down. And then we have this, and then another lower high here. And this is rounding. You see this? So this is indicating to me if we're not able to hold this level, we're likely coming down into this zone right here, $3.66. So that's what I'm seeing. We've looked at a lot of stuff today. Let's look at Bitcoin and Ethereum before we go. What's going on? Okay, let's go to a XRP. Let's look at XRP, actually. Okay, by the way, I shared this chart. Dang it. I shared this chart the other day when we had that massive pump up, and we have this massive parallel channel. This goes all the way back to this point here, zone here, rejection here, and look at where we rejected, right here. Now, if we were to take, this is also the golden pocket from this full move. Option F from this top. Option F, you sucker, from the top to the bottom. No, it wasn't that one. It was this one right here. Yeah. So from this move right here, this price action on XRP brought us right up into this golden pocket, which was also this resistance on this parallel channel we're in. And then on this move itself, if we do option F, we can come up here. This came right down. The price action came down and nearly tapped this golden pocket right here. Now we have this wonderful bull flag that if this were to really, really get going, let's do it from the candle bodies rather than the wick, because that's just going to be ridiculous if we do it from the full wick. That would take us all the way up here into the $1.25 range, which, yeah. So we just need to be careful. If this is able to hold here and consolidate, break out of this little zone that we have right here, then that could mean first level I'd be watching is 96 cents. That's also very important level because it's just sub $1. So I would be watching that. And if we lose this sort of level right here, then I'd be watching for testing this zone right here in the 65 cent zone. If we lose that, then we're likely kind of testing down here on some of these further lower highs, these highs back here, 56. But I think that's all I'm going to do today. I'm going to head over to BitBoy Crypto. I'm going to be doing the TA on Bitcoin. I'll probably bring up XRP as well and get it going there. So I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you all. Make sure you head over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page. Hit that follow, hit that retweet, hit that like, get involved. Make sure you're following me over here, Kelly Kellam, Kelly, Look for the blue check. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful day. All right, everybody. I'll see you later. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.